Elapsed time. Elapsed time is the amount of time that passes between the beginning time that you're giving and the ending time. So some examples of elapsed time would be um, Samir started playing a video game at 9:30 and he ended at 10:30. How much time did he play the video game? So that's an example of a problem that will come for elapsed time. Now, I have these two clocks today, and we are going to practice with elapsed time. So the first thing you want to do when you have two analog clocks here is you want to see what time it is on each of those clocks. So on my first clock here, we'll just call this my start time. On the first clock here, I'm looking at my hour hand, which is the shorthand first, and I see it's between 9 and 10. So I know that it hasn't quite reached 10 o'clock yet. It is still the 9 o'clock hour. So I'm going to write that down. It's 9 o'clock, and I'm going to add my colon. For the minutes, they're different. I need to count the tick marks. Now, the tick marks are not shown on this clock, but in between every single number on this analog clock, we count it differently for minutes. This is 0, which is the first minute, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. So most of the time, people will count by 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. By the way, this would be showing your work. So the minute hand stops at 5, which in minutes is 25 if I'm counting by 5s. So it is 9:25 on this start clock. On the end clock, my hour hand is still between 9 and 10. It looks like it's on 10, but I can see that it's not quite 10 o'clock yet because my minute hand has not gotten back to 0. So it's still the 9 o'clock hour. So I'm going to write 9 o'clock and a colon. And then I'm going to count my minutes around to see how many minutes. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and 50. Because my minute hand is pointing directly to 10, I know that the minutes are 50. So it is 9:50. So my job is to find the elapsed time, or the time that passed between the first clock and the second clock. Now, we will be using a number line to find elapsed time. So I'm going to draw that timeline, and I'm going to start it out with 00 standing for o'clock. In this case, it's going to stand for 9 o'clock. And at the end, I'm going to draw another 00, and that's going to stand for 10 o'clock, which is the next hour. In the middle, I'm going to write 30 because that's half of an hour, and an hour has 60 minutes in it. I'm not writing 60 because nowhere do you ever include time with 60. Like for instance, you wouldn't write 9:60. 9:60 is really 10 o'clock, so I wouldn't write 9:60. So I didn't write 60 on here, just so we know. When we get after 59, we go back to the next hour and we go back to 0. Okay, so I have 30 here. I'm going to break this in half just to give you an idea how to make this number line. And I know that this is halfway between 0 and 30. I know that 15 is half of 30. So I'm going to start here and put 2 more dots because I need 5 and 10. And I'm going to put 2 tick marks here. And I'm going to make those 20 and 25. Again, between 30 and the next hour, I'm going to go to the middle. And I know the middle between 30 and 60 would be 45. So I'm going to add those tick marks here. 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and then back to a whole nother hour. So basically, this is a clock just stretched out straight on a number line. So I know that I want to start at 9:25 because that is the beginning clock. 25, and I'm going to count by 5s all the way until I get to 50 because that is the ending time. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So I know that my elapsed time, I'm just going to call it ET, is 25 minutes. That's how many hops it took me on the number line. But sometimes on the number line, you have to count more than just minutes. You have to count hours. And so I'm going to give you a problem that starts with hours and show you how to use an open number line to get the elapsed time. So here I'll have a start time, and these are digital times, so it's not an analog clock. These are 5:15 to 8:25, and I want to find out the elapsed time. So I'm going to take my number line, and I'm not going to draw anything on it this time. This is called an open number line. I can make it what I need it to be. So I am going to start with 5:15 here. And I know that I want to get to 8:25. So the first thing I'm going to do is count by hours. I'm not going to worry about the minutes. I'm just going to count hours on. And since I know that 5 is the hour, that's what's going to change. So I'm going to count till I can get to the 8 o'clock hour. 5:15. Give me one more, gets me to 6:15. One more gets me to 7:15. And one more hop gets me to 8:15. So far, I've counted 3 hours. And so now I'm at 15, and now I want to count by 5 minutes again because I want to get to 8:25. So I know the next place would be 8:20, 8:25. And so I've counted 5, 10 minutes. So altogether, I know that my ET, elapsed time, equals 3 hours and 10 minutes. Now, sometimes in elapsed time, they won't ask you for how much time has passed. They will tell you how much time has passed, and they'll tell you the start time or the ending time. So I'm going to give you another example. So sometimes you will be told the start time. So here I have 4:05 starting, and I know my elapsed time is 2 hours and 30 minutes. So this time I'm going to count to see what my ending time is going to be. So I'm going to start with 4:05, and I know that I need to add 2 hours to it. So I'm going to just do a 2-hour jump. So I know that's 5:05, 6:05. So plus 1, I added my 2 hours, and now I'm going to add those minutes. Now, I've been counting by 5s, but you certainly can count by 10 on the number line if you wish. I'm going to count by 5s just because that's what we've been doing. So that takes me to 6:10, 6:15, 6:20. The only thing about this way, you have to make sure you're keeping track. So I've counted 15 so far, 6:25, 6:30, 6:35. And so 25, 30. I could have counted those above first. So I got to 6:35. So my end time is now 6:35. And so that can go the same way if you're finding the beginning. So say, for instance, they tell you, Kiela stopped playing her game at 1:15, and she has started 2 hours and 5 minutes earlier. So this time you're going to make your number line, and you know the end time. You know you're dealing with 1:15. My job now is to count backwards 2 hours. So I have to think, what hour comes before 1 o'clock? So you would be tempted to say 0, but not so. It's 12 o'clock. So I know I've counted 1, and I know I need 2 hours. So here, I don't want to, minus 1 hour, minus 1 hour. So 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And then I'm going to do just a 5-minute hop here. So I'm going to take 5 minutes off of 11 o'clock, which is going to take me to the previous hour, which would be 10. And then it's going to be 55. Because that's 5 minutes before o'clock. It's 55. And so now I found the start time of 10:55, and I can do S equals 10:55. And so this is a rather lengthy lesson, I know that, but you have until Tuesday to get everything done. Okay, that's elapsed time.